Welcome back. Listen Up is exploring how people cope in times of trauma. While Japan works to rebuild in the wake of a devastating earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear incidents, what lessons for recovery can we learn from those who have been in similar trauma? We go to lessons learned in years of recovery from Hurricane Katrina.
It's terrible. I think about our life of stuff we had, and it's just all gone. Just, I don't know, it's not good. We can walk back here. This was our living room right there. I see a lot of our stuff went over there. This was like furniture I had under our carport right there. And this was the living room right here in a carport. Yeah, this was my kitchen. I had a nice baker's rack in there. I don't see it anymore, with cookbooks on it and collectible things. And let's see, this was on my kitchen counter. I don't know where they found this. That was on my kitchen counter. It had a top on it. It was kind of real old. I collected antiques.
Joining me now via Skype is a pastor who set up camp in the heart of disaster in Waveland, Mississippi, and worked with Veronica. Don Young, it is so good to catch up with you again.
Lorna, thank you. It's great to see you again.
You know, Don, the families in trauma like Veronica's that I saw you working with in Waveland really need all the help they can get. Tell us how you got started in trauma recovery there.
Well, it happened just a couple of days after Katrina hit on August 29th. And I was watching television, and they were talking about Katrina, and they showed on a computer clip a little in the water holding up a sign saying, "Don't forget me." And it was in Waveland, Mississippi. So I went to see a pastor friend, and he had also decided he wanted to go to Waveland, so we decided to go down there together. We were there 3 days after Katrina hit at that strip mall where Kmart used to be, and McDonald's and others. And that's how it really started. I never really thought I'd get into it, but it happened when I saw this gal, and it was like God said, go.
Don, you had zero experience in trauma recovery, and yes, you just went. And now we're going to go put a picture up here for the audience. And those of you at home, concentrate your eyes on that collection of tents you see in this photo. Because, Don, your church organized the parking lot of Kmart. This is where one of the world's largest hamburger franchise was immobilized in the disaster. And there's your church helping spend $20,000 a day just to make trauma recovery, to feed people. These are huge vats of food you cooked up. You fried comfort food, deep fried comfort food. Help us understand what those acts of faith did in the trauma environment.
It was really amazing what happened, because we arrived there with a Walmart grill and a couple of trucks and a handful of people, and we spent the night actually sleeping in our cars, and people started coming out from behind the buildings. And it was when we got there and saw the tremendous need, we realized we had no idea what to do about trauma. We just knew we had to deal with people's needs. We had water, some medicine, and then it grew to this 5 tent, 60,000 square feet monstrosity of a ministry that never thought happened, but God just did.
Just a bunch of church volunteers. I'd never seen anything like it, but you have learned a lot now about disaster recovery. In fact, when 100,000 people died in the Chinese earthquake, you were called in. You're still working there in China. What is it in trauma recovery that helps people recover?
Well, the initial crisis puts them into a depression, their hopelessness. There's a feeling of hopelessness, and how can we get out of this? How can we survive? What can we do? And so the platform for being able to deal with trauma is to give them a platform for hope.
Okay, so you believe people need a framework to hang their recovery on. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, if they don't have something to hold on to, they die. They become depressed, they stay inward. There's no hope. Some of them commit suicide. Some of them never get off of depression. There's really nothing for them to hold anything on if they have no hope. And so the framework for crisis and trauma is hope. And so you're able then to help them build a hope, and you begin to hear them. The first thing is listening and their needs, and they begin to build a trust for you. And they see you as someone who's going to stay alongside of them, not just come and use them to raise money. That was a huge thing in Katrina.
How do you handle the tough questions about where was God? How can God let this happen to me?
That was the number one question to ask. And we start out by saying, God did see it happen. That's why we're here. God is concerned about you. That's why we're here. And acts of nature happen all the time. God, you're alive. So God did see you, and God does care for you.
Okay. And what is your advice for people who wonder, should I try the Christian route to hope?
I tell them, start there. I tell them that God does love them. And if they allow God to show that to them, they will see how extraordinarily faithful he will be to them, even in their deepest, darkest hour. And there's testimony one after another of how this happens in their lives.
And for those who may be watching and they are in their trauma hour, what advice would you give them?
I would say if you're in your darkest hour, understand that there is only one answer to your hope, and that's God. Otherwise, it's hopelessness. He's the only one to give hope. He's the only one who has the ability to give us hope. And so we start there by crying out to him. Find someone who can share that hope with you, and you'll get out of it quickly. Well, not quickly, but you'll get out of it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Don Young. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you for allowing me to come, and God bless you, and I hope this encourages many people.
And stay tuned. Stories of recovery from those in the worst of trauma next.